What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. How you doing today? I'm feeling good. I noticed in the comment section, some of you, most of you, assuming, feeling pretty good. The Dream responding already, just saying, hey, keeping it simple. Says in early. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then, of course, Egg starting off with good afternoon, gents. So that's a good way. I like it when the audience is nice. Everybody's in a good mood. Egg's in two different spots now because he wants people to know he has a show. That's fine. Egg's in his promotional whore aspect as long as you are liking from both. I only see one like go up so far. So Egg, that means you can now like from two destinations. And liking from two destinations was the nickname of my co-host who is about to join us from his lovely, lovely recording studio. Everybody say hello to Tim Freeman. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. There's nothing more fitting than a recording studio in a house in Nashville, Tennessee. If you go to realtor.com, it's pretty much required. You can't sell your house unless you have a recording studio. You better set one up, throw a folding table up, put a tape recorder down. Comes with recording studio. But here I am, man. It's great to be back, Raf. Got some interesting things to talk about in the world of jiu-jitsu. One topic I've been trying to avoid, but I think we're going to have to hit this one head on. But man, a lot of great stuff. Just got off the bullies. I don't know if you were going to mention this, but let me bring this up top of show. We did touch base with one Kevin Sherrill, and he was flattered that he won 2 bullies. Would you agree with that sentiment, Raf?
Yes. And I like that you say that as if we are talking about somebody who has passed on to the other side. And you're like, would you agree that grandma is very much alive? You just can't see her. But she sends her regards and here's $20 in an envelope. So she's doing great.
The late, great Kevin Sherrill. Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, I can say this. It was a bit of a shock that Kevin got 2 bullies. It's the most rewards he's ever got for any kind of jiu-jitsu. So we felt good giving it to him. And you would think it feels like it's a send-off, but he was sharing some Grappling Hour content, which was very nice, of his good friend Baby Goose. But he didn't share the second video, and that went out today. So just saying. And yes, PGF folks, we do see you. There's the answer. The question being, where's the handsome one? Well, he's dead.
Duh.
But you have 2 handsome people here. You're good. And then it says, I see red, bro. Yes, very much so. That joke has not gotten old at all. And we're probably going to stick with it until I can find out a better design or something else there. And then, of course, the Dream saying he is there. So what's this tea that you're spilling here, Conscious Keelan? The next week of PGF news is going to be wild. Here's the reason I bring this up. And Tim, you can tell me if you know anything different. We've gotten people asking us, okay, how much do you know about the upcoming season? And we continuously say next to nothing. Tim, is that different for you?
It is not different for me. And I kind of know next to nothing about the upcoming season, to be honest with you. So if Keelan is slumming around in the bullpen on a Friday afternoon, look, I'm not a made man in the one of the 5 families, but that kind of smells suspicious to me, if you know what I'm saying. So something's going on.
I love that Keelan is here to just do a quick drop in to just be like, boy, some really big things are happening. Bye. And then getting out. I'm like, no. He better be staying here for most of the show. You got to stay through the monologue. Tim, you mentioned Kevin. What has been going on your side of the world? I don't get to see you. This is our actual time to catch up. So what is new for you?
Man, I'm hanging and banging out here, keeping the faith. However, I did get pulled over by the police on my way home from class on Wednesday night, and I got to like the police, they rep hard out here. There's not a lot to do in Mayberry, so they just kind of park on the side of the road, and I just kind of wave as I drive by. And I drove by this officer, and I'm like, I'm good. I got my next to me. I'm getting ready to jump on 65 and head south, go see my beautiful Mexican wife and eat a spicy chicken sandwich. And this sheriff, he lights me up, and I'm like, oh, snap. Like, what's going on? And I pull over to the gas station. And I got to tell you, like, usually when I get pulled over, I know why I'm getting pulled over. I had no clue. And I got nervous, man. I started getting nervous, and I'm like, bro, you got a black belt in jiu-jitsu and you're getting nervous. And then my other head said, damn right, I'm getting nervous. So long story short, apparently the car that I bought off of CarMax, thank you very much, the windows are tinted very, very dark. It does look like a drug dealer car, but it's a nice ride. I managed to talk my way out of the fix-it ticket. I invited him to jiu-jitsu. I'm like, come see us at 10P Nashville. We're right up the road, Doug. I was just on my way home from class, and I got to talking with him and weaseled my way. That's, it's going good, I guess you could say. But I was a little irritated at myself that I was so nervous. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, Raph.
That's fair. Tim, the fact that you're the person that goes, actually, I do know why you pulled me over, officer, and I believe that means I get to walk away, right? That is peak white person. So congratulations to you. And by the way, if you can mention getting pulled over and not drag a Mexican into this, somehow you putting an element of the story being like, going to see my beautiful Mexican wife, I'm like, edit that part out. We don't need to hear.
I love the Mexican people. I do. I love them so much. I married one, man. Come on.
I'm just letting you know. We want to try and get away from as many pulled over stories as possible. So there is that. And I don't know that this is off track, but Bujigatami says Tim showed some skin to dodge that ticket. Tim, facts or irrelevant?
Is a risk. Because the move for me when I show skin is I do this.
Oh, yeah.
So
though. You're good.
It's risky, but Officer Friendly liked it. He liked it. I let him give it a little rub for good luck. He thanked me. He thanked me after he's like, you know what? Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Then I headed on down the road, dude.
Every minority's nightmare is hearing their white co-host being like, oh no, it's so easy. This is fun. I love getting pulled over. Okay, thank you. Well, Tim, we do have some stuff to get to, and I'm excited about the upcoming season of the PGF. Let me tell you guys a little bit about what I have been up to. In this world, your boy RAF ESPARZA has been interviewing people nonstop. We just finished interviews with both Kevin Lucas and with Travis Thomas, who are the heads of the New Hope Kings, or just the Kings if you are on the streets these days. That's a really cool interview. That has already gone to the Patreon people who are with us at patreon.com/grappling hour. So there's that. But there's also more. We also interviewed Austin, who is Gumby Jitsu. So very excited for him to make his way on. There's also TV Dinner, who's been interviewed. Cam Hurd just had an interview. Jet Thompson was supposed to do an interview, but missed his interview today. Now, normally I wouldn't put you on blast, but I have not heard back from Jet Thompson. So, young man, check your DMs. Can win a title. Forgets a schedule. Just saying. Jet, you know better, young man. So, I'm going to have to come out here and find young Jet Thompson. And you know what it is? I now get to tell people I have submitted him in competition. So he was too scared to show up. But Tim,
yeah,
we have a lot of board to get to. And we have some friends in the audience who I think would like to hear us comment on a few things. Why don't we start with the very first big set of news? There have been some updates in the Isaac Michelle case, but one of the biggest surprises since we have last seen everybody is the body cam footage from the wife, the ex-wife, we don't know the quite situation for Sonny, has been released. And you would know that because you've seen many, many different memes saying, I'm going to fucking train jujitsu, or trained fucking jujitsu, which is a very different sentence. Nonetheless, Tim, what was your reaction when you ended up seeing that footage hit there? And did you watch the full 15-minute video?
Oh, no, I didn't watch the full 15-minute video. You could thank Craig Jones and Mikey Musumici's great debate for that. I will never watch a full video again. However, I did watch it, and it, you know, apparently she's comfortable with the cops too, because she was defiant. I wasn't defiant. I was nervous. I was like, okay, how am I going to manipulate this situation? She was just straight up defiant. Like, she was irritated that she was being pulled over and had to deal with this and wanted to hurry up and get this over with so she could go home. That was kind of the vibe she was pushing off. The other part of me was like, damn, if I got arrested, wow, I would hate it if like Craig Jones put it on Instagram and everybody watched it. And, you know, it's like, it kind of made me feel bad a little bit. And it's like, are we crossing the line? You know, is this actually like crossing the line? Then I'm like, this is Craig Jones we're talking about. Like, does Craig Jones have a line that he isn't willing to cross or blow up his nose in one way or another? So, you know, I think it's kind of tragic in a way, but it's also, this is the world we live in, man. Everybody has a phone, and you're going to live and die by it. And if you're out there and you're kind of living in a certain way where you're calling people out, or you're behaving in an odd manner, you're rubbing people the wrong way, and then you slip up, then they're going to jump on it. The great thing is there's a billions of, I don't even know how many billions are there? Are there 7 billion people? 8 billion people in the world? Somebody's going to be next. So you'll be all right. Name washed out of the news cycle soon.
I'm glad you mentioned this, Tim, because I don't know what to do with this information. For example, I think that you have brought up a very good point, and I'd like to expand on that, which is just this. Are any of us above making any kind of mistake like this? Would you want your worst moment to be televised? It's a rough place to be. I really do feel that is not ideal for all of us. Having said that, I watched the full 15 minutes and it was hilarious. And listen, we're not good people here, but we were doing it from an investigative standpoint. I want to point out why this is so absurd, though, Tim. The reason why this is absurd to me is that you briefly touched on it, which was that she seemed inconvenienced by these police officers. And if you are somebody who is here on a immigration status, a green card status, a migrant status, whatever it is, how are you treating the officers so indignantly? Like, how are you so angry at them for, as Gordon Ryan would say, doing their job? And if you just comply and do what you're supposed to do, no big deal. And the weird part to me was the way that Sunny was reacting in these moments was the way that she would act that seemed playful behind the scenes, or keeping the boys in line at them and barking orders. But it goes to weights and stop being a baby or a bitch, but not to police saying you were driving recklessly. Now, here is, if you're under the influence, maybe you're not your best self. But Tim, I did the same thing you did, was right after saying, man, what if that footage was of me? Would you not feel a great sense of shame that that would have hit the streets?
Oh, yes. And I think Sunny probably does feel some sense of shame, but you can paint yourself into a corner persona wise where you're not allowed to even publicly acknowledge it. You just have to pretend like that didn't happen. But yeah, absolutely, man. We need to bring some good old fashioned shame back, to be honest with you. What happened to like a little bit of shame? Put some clothes on too, son. Does she own anything else other than a Lululemon booty shorts and halter top? Was she born in that? Is she sponsored by these people? Like everywhere, you got to go to the doctor, your funeral, everything is this way. You got arrested in a peach.
I'm gonna be real though, Tim. If you get arrested and you're sponsored, you got to be like, this arrest is brought to you by Lululemon. The only way I get arrested is with Lulu. So you got to make sure you represent that well. Can I just tell you the couple things across my mind before I get into the thing I need to get into here? Because the photo alludes to it, and I think it begs some investigation here. But not for nothing. Yeah, seeing somebody be rude to police officers is kind of funny. But it's the way in which she was answering, and then you don't know you're going to find out. I'm going to train fucking jiu-jitsu is now all-timer meme. You can't replace that. It is what it is. It's a rat that got dropped off in our doorstep. It's amazing.
It's the new all your base.
Her being allergic to gay people was also not on a bingo card here. And it makes you wonder if that maybe sometimes these shitty jokes that we say in the gyms finally have their day in court. Maybe not yet because, but it's like, I think she was talking the way she would at the gym with the guys after training. And that just doesn't fly when you're really being told by people, hey, stop that. And even if she feels it's unlawful or she's being targeted or it's unfair or she thinks the process is bullshit, it just showed a lot of contempt. And I felt like that almost pushed it over the edge of saying like, yeah, it's all right if we watch this because it's so absurdly silly. You can't help but laugh. So there be that. Hold on. I like that, Keelan, you don't produce this show. I want to add a topic to this board. Should I break some news right here in the comments? Yes, go do that. And you'll have time because I'm going to address this little thing. I have to actually take off Tim of the board here. And this is unprecedented. I don't normally do this on the show. But before I put Tim off, I just want to say this very quickly. Okay. We're in a weird era where instead of saying, hey, listen, I was married to somebody who did something wrong, Gordon has gone off the deep end and responded by putting the blame on Craig. Now, granted, Craig is definitely being a troll here, and there's a lot of work that he's doing to make sure that Freedom of Information Act was pretty important on breaking all this stuff. So yes, it can be seen as trolling. But I just want to go through something here. If you haven't seen it, and I don't know how you haven't, this is why I have to take Tim off this thing so that you guys can see the response that Gordon wrote. And just to give you guys some insight, I'm actually a speech and debate coach. I have worked extensively in the world of rhetoric. What you see in front of you is only part one of the response that Gordon Ryan had to this whole situation. Because some people, I'm sure, wanted to know, how did he feel about this situation? Did he feel it was processed right? Was it anything that was fair or unfair to Sonny? Are they still married? There was a lot of questions, and he responded to none of that saying, Craig's an idiot. Let's read it. You went from being a former Z Team and Crooked Craig propaganda page to all of a sudden promoting rival Austin gyms of your supposed friends after you so amicably split from the team. Seems likely. Make no mistake, Craig is waging a war on Simpleton the same way he did on us when he left. He infiltrates, manipulates the weak-minded, low IQ, and then destroys all while claiming a high moral ground. Okay, why are we starting with this one? Does this sound familiar to anybody? It's literally like taking the Donald Trump format and style, putting it into a chat GPT filter, and then saying, regurgitate this, but only to my enemy. We here already see the emergence of Crooked Craig, an alliteration, marketing, trying to essentially make your opponent or your enemy seem like an idiot. But let's go back to the first post. If you thought the first post that we just posted there was long, no, this was the initial one. So this is his response saying, so many of the hilarious posts of Crooked Craig directly and indirectly attacking Simpleton MMA after they kicked him out. So really the target here is to take the news off of Sunny and her arrest and turn it back over to Craig seeding his way from Simple Man MMA. Why are we doing all this shit? Nikki Fraud, another new name. Then he's talking about that Craig has no relevant titles. And this is the reason why I feel I need to step in. Craig has not won things in jiu-jitsu. He's made a whole career of saying he's second best. Gordon has won a lot. But when Gordon writes these ridiculous things, he is basically making his ADCC and storied credentials sound like Al Bundy talking about 4 touchdowns in a high school football game. And as a result, it drags down the whole fucking sport. It's absurd. Gordon is incredibly accomplished. But this is a madman writing this. Who is letting him write this? And you know what? I guess Sonny's not there to help out. I'm just letting you know, none of this is coherent. Everybody's laughing at this. But I thought there was one thing in particular that was pretty funny, which is that he took the time to actually make fun of BJJ World, our friend, Freddie, and says, BJJ World, which is ran by Craig's bitch, rather than being an actual news page, talking about how another Austin BJJ school is the place to be, even though his supposed friends are running a school just miles away. What? So he's basically saying that it's a propaganda machine and that Freddie doesn't report news. As a person who does report news occasionally, just a note. You're just trying to discredit somebody who doesn't always put you in a glowing light. So anyway, I don't even know what to say here. I really wish we had a better person who was our best guy in the world, because he's the best at jiu-jitsu, nowhere near the top of somebody who can write well in the sport. Like if Chris Wojcik's our best writer, Gordon's, I mean, there's nowhere lower to go. So anyway, I thought we would just have a little bit of fun by reading that. Tim, did you learn anything from these posts? Can you read all of these words?
I mean, I did. I read them, and you know, look, Gordon might have a future as a slam poet. I could, this is like stream of consciousness slam poetry. The wild thing that I think I found something here, actually, just a little nugget I wanted to drop off, is at the same time, it's curious that Kingsway is offering 5 lifetime memberships at $20,000. And it makes sense. Someone has to replenish the Sunny Legal Defense Fund. And you know what, dude? I put it all together, Raf. Moneyberg bought all 5 of them, because he's going to learn 5 lifetimes worth of jiu-jitsu at the same time. It makes sense. It makes sense.
So hold on. This is great. It says from Egg, looks like a ransom note, which
it does.
It really does. And I feel like the hard part is it's difficult to tell somebody who has made money, who is good at what they do for jiu-jitsu, that they are out of touch with how to even respond. And I don't think he cares. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But the fact that it is so down the line of Trump rhetoric, it's like we won't forget that. That's just lowering what it is we respect you for, which is jiu-jitsu. When you respond like this, it just makes it seem like you're getting into petty wars. And believe me, there's another topic on the board for petty wars that we'll get to.
Dude.
It's so silly. And then to talk about, like we're going to sell $20K for 5 different people. That's awesome. I hope you sell those. That sounds like a good deal. I don't know. It sounds like you might need some money to pay for some things. That's okay. That's all good. I don't know that you're in a good place. There's a lot of speculation here. We don't pretend like we know everything, but it is curious. That's all. And there is an allusion to J-Rod in that
Doesn't
whole
that sound like a
situation.
Trumpian move?
Of course it is. All of this is. And you know what? Gordon's going to start selling steaks so that then it goes bankrupt and he can make money. It's the producers all over again, dude. That's all I'm telling you. He's going to have Gordon Ryan University, which, by the way, oh shit, the Moneyberg thing. It's Trump University.
Wow.
Holy shit. Normally I have this stuff figured out, but I just made that realization on air. Well, can't wait for that to go under. There is that. And it says, Al Bundy, the legend of Polk High School. Yes, a fictional character. All right. This was the note. It says, this comment section produces the show. When you produce a show, I don't know that you produce this show, but okay. I'm curious. Tell me the news. Break the news. You can also just text me. But yes, Tim is going to take a second here, but I'm going to advance the board and I'm going to go to our next topic while potentially somebody in the comment section tells us what it is we are doing next. So thank you for that, Keelan. Love and appreciate you. Miss you a lot, sir. All right, let's talk a little bit about this second topic. Why is this a huge, huge thing? Well, as it stands right now, we alluded to it earlier, but Isaac Michel is now wanted to the point where they have put out video packages explaining that he is a person of interest and that he should be considered somebody that you proceed with caution. They're looking for news on it, and there's now $1,000 reward for anybody who finds more information here. So it begs the question, do we think that we're going to find him? Because somebody is already to Craig, and Train Angry says they're close to a closed case, and yet I don't know enough to know what would constitute a closed case. So for you, what is your take on all of the newest information that has been in regards to the Isaac Michel case?
Yeah. Okay. So apparently he's in Australia. This is what I've read, that he fled, I think, to Thailand and then to Australia. There is, a warrant out for his arrest in Texas. Obviously, we've heard the allegations, which are not good, man. They don't sound good. And from the looks of it, he's not behaving like somebody who has nothing to hide or to run from. And so I think it's a matter of time. There was another case years and years ago back in the day with a dude named Cameron Earl, who was up in Northern California, who committed this act against a female victim, and he fled and disappeared for a while. And, it took a little bit of time, but you know what? He resurfaced at a jiu-jitsu gym and got turned in. So it was freaking awesome. And he ended up getting prosecuted and in trouble for it. So I'm hoping if that's what happened, if this dude's guilty, then I hope they catch this dude, man. Either way, though, look, if I wasn't guilty of this, I wouldn't be hiding. That's the part that is not a good look, dude. So I think they're going to find him. I think he's going to get brought to justice.
I think the weirdest part about all this is, in both this case and the Sonny case, they were both like, peace. I gotta go. And immediately they go out, which is not a great look. And yes, I feel like this is bad news all around. Having said that, for the Isaac Michel case, there was a statement put out by Mo for AACC, and they said he does deserve his day in court. That's it. Like, no real judgment. We got to wait to let that process happen.
Oh, yeah. Mo's like, I'm going to sit this one out. What an easy one to sit out, Mo. Like, out of all the dumb shit Mo does, he's like, guys, well, I'm going to wait and see. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear you.
It's just...
Sorry, Raph.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's difficult because what do you do? What if you're wrong in this particular case? Now, that assumes a lot because some very brave women have come forward, and it seems like it was a pattern. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what you do if you're him, But something as easy as just saying, which he did follow up with this, I believe Kenta was second in there, and they would give that bid that Isaac had earned to Kenta. So that is what's happening there. So I don't know, guys. This is a tough one. I feel like it's a hard thing to argue when somebody is basically escaping responsibility and still being like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Innocent until proven guilty. Oh, he is fleeing the country. Or there is this news package that says he is a person of interest, 12 people who were named by Texas with a reward.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit this one out. We'll see what the things go in there.
Is that what he did when CJI popped off and those athletes were going to jump ship? He didn't go like, oh, I'm going to sit this. He said, if you show up over there, that's it, man. Like, you're dead to me. But in this case, he's like, well, I'm going to wait and see. I'm a very measured man.
Can I just say this? I think it's good that he did put up the sense of saying, we'll put Kenta in there. I think that is good. So I can get behind that. The part that is difficult for me to do anything with, or that I'm having a hard time figuring out how they could respond better or be better, is just saying this. Listen, Mo, if I'm you could easily just say like an extra statement that says it's a pretty serious charge. If he is brought to justice and he is accused and he is going to trial and it becomes something that he is guilty of, there are more important things than ADCC. But you would never hear him say that because nothing's more important to ADCC except everything is. Because in this particular case, that's a really serious set of accusations that you don't want to belittle ADCC and say like, that's not, oh, no, I don't know what the real answer is yet. It's like, well, how about we'll see his day in court and we'll go from there. This is our plan. But to us here, that's a pretty serious charge and we take it seriously and we'll actually do something. Because in the comment section, people were reminding him other people who have participated who were questionable at best. So I think that's kind of what they're referring to when they say, are you going to take action? But yes, if somebody's on the news as a person of interest, and yes, we want to give them their day in court, but oops, they fled the country. Maybe it's not a bad thing to give Kenta that call on the phone right now and just have him ready at the waiting because
he's like, yeah. He's being really stingy this year, Raf. He's like, the women got to win twice, right? Like he's like really, really sticking to his guns this year, man. What's going on?
I mean, well, the women do have to win twice. That is their weird rule they have for ADCC because Lord forbid they open up another 8 women per bracket. Yikes. I think the weird part is we already talked about this. The ADCC trials, the men's 99 plus had just as many as one of the women's divisions. So maybe you need to cut down on the men's. Maybe that 99 plus is only 8 guys. It's just the numbers, guys. Sorry. Anyway, there's that. I did get a text, yes, from a friend here. And it did say texted, and I have received said text. So yes, you do have to keep watching. Wink. Well done there, Keelan. Let's go to our next topic here. Tim, what can you tell us about the unnecessarily, I'm sorry, I haven't seen the photo of this.
I wish we could share this because this is my masterpiece for today, Ralph. Like, I think I really figured these guys out.
Oh, fuck. I'm so impressed by this photo. It legitimately caught me in a way because normally I proof everything, or at least I have some kind of eyes on stuff. This photo, I'm going to take a minute here. I just want people to appreciate the work that Tim J. Freeman does on this show, because if you truly appreciate art, and if anything, I think we're a show that appreciates art. Look at the spectacular zoomed in graphic that he made here. Tim, walk us through your piece of art here. What did you do to make this happen?
Well, I put my thinking cap on, and John Jones and Daniel Cormier. I really like both these guys. Great athletes, great fighters. They are gearing up for a reality show, and I think it's in Russia. I think it's the same one where Nate Diaz got booted off of it or something like that. It's the AFL reality show. And they're both opposing coaches. And I think maybe these guys are hyping it up, but they've been going back and forth in the media, sniping at each other. Jones just came out and said that DC was an asshole, and there's DC's saying or Jones is challenging DC to a boxing match, and then DC saying, let's have a wrestling match. And I think they got it all wrong. I think these guys could make a ton of money. Get the Waffle House. Look, we know Waffle House is where the squabs are. If you got fire in your hands and you want to throw static, you go to the Waffle House after 10 p.m. Guaranteed you're going to get some rounds in. If I got a heavy 10p Nashville and I can't find guys to spar with him, we head down to the Waffle House after class. That's the game. So we sell it to Waffle House. They're the premier sponsorship, and these guys are fighting for the waffle title, which for me is maybe the best thing I've ever done with AI generative art. And it was tricky because it didn't want to create me an actual championship belt with a waffle in the middle. It took some very coercive prompting. I berated the AI engine a little bit, jumped on its case, and then it gave me what I want. I would pay top dollar to see this match. But I think these guys are doing a little kayfabe here. I think they're playing the game, trying to sell it a little bit. I would still like to see these guys compete against each other because I do think, Raf, and I'd like to hear what your feedback on this. I do think they're both super competitive, and they both would want to win, no matter, even if it was a waffle eating contest.
Yeah, I'm so bored by them because they can't fight anymore. And then DC sitting here telling us in his current state that he's going to wrestle him. Listen, this is not to take away the accomplishments of a very incredible run by DC in the world of MMA. That was about 10 years ago now. The guy who is kind of at his peak and starting to get off of that peak couldn't beat John Jones. And at one point when DC said we're going to wrestle, if memory serves me correct, I thought that John Jones actually took DC down at 1.2. So that's when DC was in better shape. Now, I'm not trying to say that DC isn't afforded a beautiful retirement. He is given the world's cushiest job, which is don't say anything against the UFC. Everything's great, UFC. It's not even a commentator position. It's literally just, UFC's great. They pay us too much. What are you talking about? I'm a company man. I know things you guys don't. I know people get paid a lot. They don't. And I know that they would never steal from the athletes they have. And that we will take care of them. Define them. So, when we talk about DC, it is difficult to take the DC of current and say, oh, yeah, that dude's going to wrestle John Jones? A dude who looks like he's glancing at the potions being injected into Bane and says, not enough? Okay. Or, I'm sorry, picograms. Have to remember that. That was something that they educated us on. I'm just saying, if John Jones is in an off season and retired, you don't think that guy is going to make the most of his time with supplements? And DC supplements are the craft table. So just listen, I'm good letting things set sail. And there's an important lesson here. You know what? Camera one, over here. This way, DC. Nobody likes hearing this. You're a seasoned competitor, a double champ, an incredible champion at what you did, you don't always get to get it back. It sucks. You would give the speech to your wrestlers. I see a lot of inspirational videos that people post of you being like, hey, you guys want to be good at this? You got to know this and this. Like, you teach them life lessons. I feel like I want to step in and do one for you. You got to let Jon Jones go. I know it sucks. He's not a good human being. You're a better human being, but you make questionable decisions, but we still like you better. And then you do stuff where you're like, I'm going to wrestle him and beat him. And then we have to do this thing where we go, we can't let you lose to him again. So on behalf of all of us, we support your thinking. Like, challenge him to golf. I don't think you're good at golf. I beg you might actually be a Charles Barkley at golf too. I don't know these things. Just find a different game to challenge him at. You know what? DC, here's what you do. If Jon Jones is getting under your skin, immediately challenge him to a game of, I bet I won't get arrested. And you know what? I think you might win that one. Just if you stay on that line, hey, guess who won't pop for steroids? Look at this. No way I'm getting popped for steroids. I want you to win, DC, so badly. But you have to change the format where you're saying it. And Jon Jones, you're not clear on this either. I like the fact that you have retroactively tried to convince us. I don't know what his deal is. I've tried to make peace so many times. You have tried to make war far more than peace. Do not gaslight us into thinking we have not heard what we've heard. That's really where we're at right now. I think everybody just says, you know what? Gaslight. You didn't hear what you heard. And you're like, what? What is that? No, I saw it. I felt it. I know what that was. So yes, those are my initial thoughts on that. Tim?
Listen, another thing to consider. DC in his current form, if he wrestled in a singlet, that's a sex crime. He would lose the game of who's going to get arrested first. If he did wrestle, he would definitely lose who's going to get arrested first. That's all I got to say about that. And if you weren't picturing DC in a singlet, now you are. You're welcome.
That's a crime. That's what we're talking about here. Okay. I know. Thank you, Keelan. Keelan keeps sending me things to fix and do. I'm like, I have it. I appreciate you, sir. I will do it. But we're going to move on to our next thing. Tim, it looks like Tom Hardy has made some news, and in a good way, but also one that's very sad for some of us who have been holding out hope to see something very interesting about him in the world of jiu-jitsu. What can you tell us that is going on with him right now?
Well, the line that I'm picking up is that Tom Hardy, the famed actor and jiu-jitsu practitioner, was challenged to a match up. I can't remember what the promotion was, but it's against the number one ranked fighter, and I think he's might be lightweight, Arman Tsarukyan. He's 23-3. It was going to be a grappling match. Hardy had other commitments. Very, very intelligent choice, in my opinion, and was not able to do it. But Arman's camp said, look, we put in the contract that Hardy had the right of first refusal. Like, they were going to offer it to him first, and if he accepted, then the match would be with him. And if he said no, then Arman could pick somebody else. Look, I made the graphic confused because in this picture, Hardy looks to me like Jiu-Jitsu Dad. That's what he literally looks like. Every 47-year-old dude who signs up for jiu-jitsu classes because he's been sitting on the bench there watching his daughters train for 6 months and he finally decided to do it. That's what he looks like in this picture. And Arman, being the number one ranked fighter in the UFC, I think he's number 15 pound for pound, which is nothing to sneeze at. He's pulling like a reverse Jake Paul, essentially, right? He's like, I'm not the super famous guy. He's the super famous guy. I'm going to call him out and try to beat him up instead of somebody that's like a little bit more on my level. But, you know, it would be interesting to see. I don't think Hardy would do well against him. Those UFC's on another level. We know this. MMA grapplers are tough, dude. They're not for any. They're just no joking around. You're playing with those guys. And why would he want to mess up his body, dude? He could go with Rigan Machado. Go find a guy in Hegan's camp. Get one of the actors over there and beat one of those guys up.
Okay. Let's break some of these things down. The first thing I see is this foolish note from Egg that just says 47 very specific, great. But the more important one he texted out was Hardy couldn't make the date. So this is a person who probably in his dating life got a text from a girl that said, hey, I'm reading a book tonight, and took it literally. You have to read between the lines with Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy's doing it respectfully and saying like, yeah, I'm not available, because I recently went on a show. I believe it's Fighters Drinking Coffee. Thank you guys for having me. They asked, what would I do if I had unlimited money? And I said, I would chase Tom Hardy. So it's nice to see that somebody took my advice and went to do that. The issue is they overshot with the opponent, because you got to give Tom Hardy another celebrity like an Ashton Kutcher or something that kind of makes sense, even from a silly angle of like, let's have him come in here and do an exhibition that's just in good fun and in the world of sportsmen. No, Tom Hardy's smart. He looked at who they were mentioning and said, him? Like, dude, I'm pretty good beating up other people my size and range. This dude, you want me to go against him? You must be out your mind. And more specific than that, I'm pissed because they might have screwed our chance at getting Tom Hardy to do something fun. Like, if that was our chance to get him to do a super fight, you literally overplayed the hand so hard that the rest of us might not be able to get in on it now. So I'm very angry about that. Didn't love it and didn't enjoy that. Okay. Egg, we're going to have a serious talk here, because you keep throwing your plugs in here. Do you remember when you would watch a TV show and there's like a lower crawl that says, hey, I hope you're enjoying The Avengers. Rizzoli and Isles is coming on right after that. And then they both like dramatically turn at you and it's a weird, creepy, three-dimensional thing. That's kind of what's happening here. We're happy to plug you, but at least choose the right areas, because when you say that and you say, wow, the comment section are the producers, you put those two things together, you're really not. Keelan gave us something, essentially broke news for his own organization that we're happy to take, but we're playing it when we want to play it. So it's not, you have to learn what a producer is. This is a lot of work. Okay. Having said that, Tom Hardy, please do a, you know what? Oh, no, full camera on me. Tom Hardy, please do a super fight, and specifically do it at the thing that I run, which is subversive jiu-jitsu. Why us? Because we can come up with whatever nonsense you want. We could have your opponent walk out as Bane, or the person you play in Lawless, or the person you play in, what is the other one? Peaky Blinders. Like, whatever it is you want us to do, we'll do it. It's just, we will find you an appropriate person to go up against. Will I sacrifice myself? You seem pretty good, man. I don't know. But I would be willing to do it. I just don't have any marquee name value in your world. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we would bust our ass to give you the best super fight possible. And we're not going to try and give you a current UFC fighter that could potentially wash, not you, respectfully, but literally half of the continent. So we would do a better job on the matchmaking. That much I could promise you. And please, please, please do a super fight. The sport very badly needs somebody who is entertaining and fun to watch. It says, if I am a 48-year-old purple belt, I'm not risking my reputation against a 29-year-old master of sport in wrestling with at least 20 years of grappling under his belt. Correct. Yes. Yeah. I feel the exact same way. Thank you. Somebody with logic in the comment section coming in at the right time. Hi. Now, as we've talked about the logic of this, we will go incoherent with our next topic, which is that, hey, I don't know if you heard, but Patty the Batty got submitted. Is he washed? Let's discuss this some more. Tim, your thoughts on this?
I really like Patty Pimblett. There's just something about, he just looks like a character. He looks like a person from medieval times, from the 14th century, that just was able to like come forward, and now he lives in the present. I love it so much. So he was fighting at an in-house tournament, and he had a match against one of his partners, Aaron Jordan. He got caught in what looked like a calf slicer, and he had to tap. And immediately it's like, oh man, this is the end of the world, homie. Tap. Like, dude, that's it. Dana White already signed his death warrant. He's out of the UFC. He's stuck, man. You better go talk to Moneyberg. Not a big deal. But what I find hilarious is Armin, who was calling out Tom Hardy, was the first to go to X and trash him. And he captioned the post and he said, "Is this the trash can that said he can out grapple me?" I think that Sarukian is just hungry to fight, dude, because he's going anybody who wants to take a fight with him. This guy's probably sitting on the couch all day long on social media, hitting call outs one after the next, looking for a bite. I don't think Patty's washed. Look, man, he got tapped. It was an in-house tournament. He's probably training with one of his homies that knows his game and knows exactly what's up. And the reality is, even though nobody wants to talk about it, is everybody gets tapped. There might be, like, seriously a handful of people that rarely get tapped, and the rest of us, we're getting tapped if we're rolling. If we're rolling with the right people, we're getting tapped. So I don't think he's washed, man. But I think it makes for a good fodder.
I'm glad you mentioned that. And I did see a downvote from somebody immediately as we got to this topic. So it begs the question, Patty, are you the one watching and downvoted there? Because I know it hurts. And if you're a big fan of Patty the Batty, we ask that facetiously because think about it. A lot of people, when they get to this, they think, all right, you get tapped, it means you're washed. And that's the current culture of jiu-jitsu and MMA. A lot of people here, when they do roll, they will get caught. They will get tapped. It happens to all of us. That's how we learn. That's how we get better. In this particular case with Patty, though, I kind of applaud him doing these in-house tournaments because you don't have to. If you're that prominent of a person, there are a lot of people who can make their name off of you. And it might seem like you're taking a risk, but how do you get better even when you're an elite MMA fighter? You have to do stuff like this because you never know when you're going to need that talent or that little extra sauce that you get from going out there and testing yourself. We just live in a very weirdly sensitive time where people just feel the need to call somebody washed without real merit or discussion. Now, if you're an opponent, proceed as you want. Because if you're somebody from the UFC and you're targeting Patty the Batty, kind of fair game. And Patty the Batty has not exactly been the smartest with his words about other people in other situations. So really it might come down to what did you curate and what did you cultivate? And in that particular case, that might be the reason he got talked to by other professional athletes. But for everybody else in the comment section, just chill, bro. This ain't your fight. Unless you want to go roll with them. And at which point, also, please go record that because we want that footage to add to our regular fight segment. And it says, if wash means getting tapped in the gym, I can't think of a fighter who isn't washed. Absolutely. It makes no sense. It's incoherent. Yeah. But look at the current culture of people who talk about people being washed with ease. And then sometimes even my own students are like, hey, coach, isn't that one guy washed? And I go, what are we doing? Like, why are we talking like that? And then I immediately tell them they're washed because I go, well, a 43-year-old just beat you up. So are you washed? And I had one student go, I didn't even make it to being good. And I was like, well, then you're washed. You never even made good. You just started washed and ended washed. They had a hard day that day. So
pathetic.
I felt like I did. Tim, should we go to blocked or should we break the news?
Oh, well, damn. You know, I would break the news, but then no one's going to want to hear blocked. Or we could just crap can blocked. I can run block right
hold on,
now
hold
because
on.
I'm pissed about blocked.
Okay, let's do blocked. I'm going to let you run with blocked. Tim, I'm moving now to this. It's a important thing to you. Is jiu-jitsu really just wrestling? Okay, Tim, I'm putting time on the clock. This is all you then.
Look, this is in response to an article that was published on BJJ Eastern Europe, the shining light of jiu-jitsu journalism. There's a lot of people upset. They've been upset forever. Jiu-jitsu, they're trying to get it into the Olympics. Don't do that. You're gonna ruin jiu-jitsu by putting it in the Olympics. It's a very, very dumb, stupid move. Let's keep it out. The article goes on to talk about how wrestling is like a hindrance because you got to go through the wrestling board or the organization or committee, and they don't want to go through the judo committee. Jiu-jitsu wants its own committee. That's absolutely ridiculous. If they're going to do anything, have some no-gi jiu-jitsu or something like that. But in general, it's going to completely jack up the rule set. All the schools are going to follow it. It will no longer be the martial art that we love. That's my minute. Let's go to the news. We don't need to talk about the Olympics and jiu-jitsu anymore. We could talk about this in 2027 now. Let's go.
Wait, hold on. Can I make fun of them too? I got a quick thing on the Olympics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just trying to crap can through them, man. Sorry.
No, I got you. We don't deserve it. That's it. Think about it. Who are our top stars? Can they make a coherent sentence? Sometimes. Sometimes not. I said top stars, so I know you're going to get in some sort of feels about that. But can I just remind you of one thing really quick? When I say top stars, and I say, hey, what would this person look like if they were to be representing the United States of America, and we put them on a very big platform, such as, I don't know, NBC and Peacock, which gets usually in the 30 to 40 million people per night tuning in, and you see them write this. We don't deserve it. Most athletes have to go through a whole process where they get screened and said, hey, don't write and do dumb shit. Well, that's our top guy. And guess what? There's a lot like him. So if that's the case, maybe pump the brakes on thinking that we need to be in the Olympics. And to be honest, we're still a growing sport. There's a really important thing a lot of us are trying to do. I just don't feel exciting wise. Yes, we have had good matches, but we don't agree on a rule set. We don't know what we want to do. We don't have a cohesive front. How about we just keep doing our sideshow? We build up steam. And I think in 5 years, you could see some really incredible progression in this sport, but it comes down to production, the way we do commentary, the way we tell our stories, and the way that we prime our athletes. And so many of us are putting in that work to try and make that happen. But when there's a hard R word that our guys keep hammering whenever they get interviewed or say dumb shit, it's not going to fly in the Olympics. And you know what? Other people, even boxing cleans up pretty nicely. We do not. So it says, look at this. Imagine Gordon Ryan trying to pass a WADA test just to make it to the Olympic team. They'd all laugh at the violations. Well, it would kind of beg a few things. One, he has gender-affirming care, so that's important to note. But two, it would be a little bit of a situation where we'd have to admit our athletes don't go naturally, and it would invite that conversation that we usually subside whenever we talk about that with him. Because really, it's a campaign to say that doing things naturally is dumb because other people do it. So thus, people fall off bridge, I would too, is the argumentation that they are going down. And it's kind of a winning argument because people want to do steroids, really, is what it comes down to. So, Tim, let's break the news. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Is society ready for this information, though?
Probably not.
Well, I think there's no other way to sugarcoat it other than to say we can announce that somebody who's going to be taking place in the upcoming season of the PGF is none other than Kevin Sherrill. So,
wow.
An important thing to note here. We didn't even know that information until today. I want to point this out to everybody here. We are happy for Kevin. We are excited to see him in that world. I don't know if he is put together that we thought we were done roasting him at the roast of Kevin Sherrill, but now if he's an athlete in the world of PGF, we're not done making fun of him. So, hold on. I'm so sorry. I forgot to press these buttons because it was, a surprise to us, but so Kevin Sherrill is back in the PGF, which begs the question, at 175, is this a better weight class for our friend? And now that he's back in it, what does that mean for the show, Tim?
I could see this working out really well for the show, to be honest with you. I've already got my wheels are turning. I can also see it now for all of the spas in the local areas where he will be staying because he's a well-known spa connoisseur. I think this is great. I'm happy for Kevin. I had no clue, man. This is great. This is hilarious. I texted him live on the air, and I can't even read what I texted him. It was so intense, but I'm actually happy for Kevin. That's pretty cool.
It is an incredible moment. Some other things to consider, and I don't know if he knows this now because Egg is in the chat, and his brain is. So it says, how many draws does the drafting team get when they land him? So what Kevin doesn't know, you may forget on the show because it's been a minute since he's been here. He's a huge stats fan in that he loves other people to make stats for him that then he can say he has processed and analyzed. It's very different. He said he has computed the stats. We found that to be untrue, but he's a fan of them. And I'm not sure he's aware of the fact that Egg now has somebody on the payroll of the Egghead Scramble, whatever we call that show. I don't know. The fact that there is now a statistician, whatever we want to call him, a statistics guy who is now a part of that show, who is going to be running the numbers. Now, I know Kevin knows his XP rating, but these numbers that Egg has pulled, I believe his name is Abe, they're very impressive. And this is like probably Kevin's biggest kryptonite. So that's the part I am afraid of him. Not the stalling jokes. We know that's coming. I feel once they use math to tell him how many stalling calls he has gotten, that's where things are going to get hurtful. And it says the refs are going to need more flags. No, you dick. You don't get to say the complimentary thing after you allude to the fact that he's going to have so many stalling calls. What is this? Stick with one or the other. You can't play both sides and be like, well, I want to point out that I was very clear that I presented the joke initially, but then I made sure that I was going to compliment you and say that you are a runner-up in the PGF. So, thus, Abe's good people. I really like him. So, good addition to the show there. All right, Tim, now that we've broken that news, we have some stuff to go ahead and figure out, but we should be getting to rounding third here and talking about this fight. What can you tell us about the fight that we're about to see here, sir?
My brother, this is a banger of a fight, and we haven't seen too many of these. We've seen sporting events fights, stadium fights. This appears to be, and guess the country artist. I'm not sure. Could be Taylor Swift. Probably not. I think the Taylor Swift crowd skews younger. I'm thinking, maybe someone just a little bit older in the country music genre. This could have very well been taking place at Nissan Stadium. It harkens back to a great Nickelodeon television show that I believe came out of Canada because it seems like all the best ones did in the early 80s. It was called You Can't Do That on Television. What a fantastic show. But we're playing it with outhouses, not lockers. That's all I'm going to say. Let's roll that tape and enjoy this, you guys. You're welcome. You're going to love this.
All right, Tim, you get first crack at this as always. So Godspeed, and let us know what we can take away from this beautiful fight.
Let's go. So we got two country girls in their Broadway outfits fighting, and it just right on cue, the porta potty doors open and a guest comes out and they go in 2-on-1 in the porta potty. Now Blondie comes in and she's not playing, man. She gets the hair. She's swinging. The red shirt's like, I don't want no mess. Sparta kicks chick back into the porta potty, and now passerby just comes up, is like, I'm just trying to take a whiz real quick, and just jumps in. Fight over. These girls are standing around, not know. This is a Daisy Duke sale at Walmart on Black Friday in the South, man. These chicks are getting after it, man.
Well, that was a lot, Tim. I'm not going to lie on that one. That was, I like to think that the fights, once they reach the bathroom area, I want to say that there's like a non-agreement that we all agreed to, which is maybe we don't go into the porta potty.
No, but you're right. You're right.
These ladies,
you're right.
Decorum out the window. I would love to take my stab at this and hopefully make some sense out of this incredibly ridiculous fight. Let's start here. First things first, you got to love the fact that whoever is coining this is saying no one is safe at a porta potty. So they're letting you know what you're in for. It's not going to look good. It's going to be grimy. And you got the house bunny from the Hard Out Here for a Pimp movie, basically pushing up homegirl against the porta-john. And she's letting you know she is not going to go down easily. Now, this is the part I love. This actual surprise from the woman who was using the bathroom. Pink Boots cannot believe this is the way things are going to shake down after she just washed her hands. Now, there's somebody here who's trying to break it up, but watch what she does. She's a pro. She's done this before. She hands off her drink and goes, hey, young man, taking my drink real quick because I got to break up this fight. Okay, thank you. Comes over. Pink Boots trying to slide on out there. Now, this is where you see somebody who's done this at least 3 times. She's grabbing the arms, trying to separate them. But what I really need you to understand is one person is essentially touching the grossest parts of the porta-john as she is being pushed.
I know.
Not just onto the seats, but everywhere else the pee is gone. So gross. Now, there's another woman. White Boots comes in, tries to lay down the law, and she doesn't have time. She's going straight into hair pulling and slapping. Red shirt says, ladies. No, not enough for the woman who is coming in, back in, letting you know January Jones is telling you, not today, not on my watch. And the kick. Let's talk about this push kick that she does. 3, 2, 1, teep,
and the
bam.
Slam.
Straight into the face, and then closes the door on her. But guess what? They pulled her out. And now there's just a lot of talking to. This is how you can tell it's a Nashville fight, because they're exchanging insurance information here now. And why did Christy Noam's long-lost daughter show up here looking like she got out of a safari and thinking that she's going to figure out all of the stuff? Like, excuse me, can anybody tell me where the extended porta-johns are? No, we don't do that here. And there's a lot of angry Karening that closes this out. And yet, this is my favorite part, Tim. Homegirl in the back, subtle to notice, says, I still have to go to the bathroom. closes the door, tries to get away from it all.
Yeah.
And that is where we leave. Does she get
Wow.
her true bathroom time? It's lost to the ages because that's where the video stops. So anyway.
That's
Tim,
a great one.
It was pretty good. I thank you for bringing that fight to our attention. You did ask me to bring something on before we closed out. I did inform you that somebody had feelings about a take that you had. Last week you were talking about Karjitsu. What were your thoughts on Karjitsu?
In a nutshell, we've seen all the card jiu-jitsu that we need to see. We get it. It's time to move on.
Okay.
That's my take. It's not that hurtful.
So do you feel like anybody is that big of a fan of Karjitsu that they might have some feelings about your thoughts on that?
I would be hard pressed to name anybody that I know who would know anybody who actually does card jiu-jitsu. I don't know anybody.
Well, here's the unfortunate part.
Oh,
Here were the
Jesus.
responses to that video. So I'm going to put this over me so they blame you exclusively for this one. But these notes were from the video that I posted up, the clip, and it says, lame video. Really, the only part of that video is you on screen. Now, this is the unfortunate part. That's on my page. So they're really pissed at you appearing on my page. But then the second part is this real? So, Tim, before we even get to the one that's the most critical, is that take of yours real?
Absolutely. Look, I could fake a take. I've been known to do that. I'm a lawyer in the bullpen court. I got to represent my clients. I got to do the right thing in terms of how it relates to my client. I know the truth can be subjective at times. It has to be bent and flipped around, and, we get it. But this card jiu-jitsu, are you kidding me? Like, it's ridiculous, dude. It's like such a waste of time. I get it that it's a novelty, but that's it. That's enough. It's enough. We're done.
Hold on.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm the stats have warped this man's brain.
No, hold on. I never do this. I never do it. Sometimes I'm just like, I think Raf, maybe he's too hard on Egg. I get it now, Raf. I see where you're coming from. I completely understand the frustration and irritation that you have with these comments that come into the board. Karjitsu has a 38% submission rate. Very respectable. Okay.
Hold on. We're gonna come back to that. But
I'll get Abe on it.
I did release the background. I'll have to find that here, but I want to point this out. Yes, card jiu-jitsu has a 38 submission % rate. From what? Seatbelts? From what?
Yeah.
The steering wheel, the club that's inside of it, the car stereo you pull out and hit the person with. What are we doing here? What do you mean they have a 38% submission rate? When we talk about a submission rate, it's a car. You're supposed to just drive in it. And instead, we simulate just parking it somewhere and saying, like, this car isn't beat up enough. We should really fight each other here and create a series for it. And it says 87% of stats are made up. We know that.
I'm done.
Oh, no. All right. Well, before you leave, let's get this last response to this other one while I put our background back. Tim, I need you to respond to this person who said, why do you take things not about you so seriously?
Why are you taking me so seriously? The same reason. It's ridiculous. I've never met. Why are you so passionate? I will answer your question with a question. Why are you so passionate about card jiu-jitsu? What are you trying to hide, dude? Like, come on, let's be real. Something's wrong with everybody who does jiu-jitsu. We all know this and we've accepted it, but something is seriously wrong with people who do card jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to leave it at that, Raf.
I watched the video though, And I didn't quite get where they thought you were making it about you. You didn't necessarily do this take and go, you know, one thing that really makes me mad in this world where I'm a king and I'm the most important thought there is car jitsu. And let me tell you why it offends my family. I grew up in New York, and that, like, there was no part of this that really was just ascribed to your personality or your family or how it deeply offends you in that way. It was just, hey, it's a really stupid thing. Can we not see how stupid it is? And instead, this person's like, why you got to make it about you? And I was like, well, ditto. So there you go.
It's literally on an award show called The Bullies. So, you know what I mean? Like, come on, buddy.
It's so funny when people see things like that. And I always wonder, like, what are they thinking before they type this? And do they not know we're going to make fun of them? I'm not quite clear. So anyway, Egg, love you guys. Yes, we love you too. Looking forward to seeing you on February 4th. Well, we're not sure what configuration you're getting, but it sounds like we're getting a Kevin Sherrill and RAF show. So Tim, do I have to make him co-host the show again? Like, what do I do?
Oh, absolutely not. He's out, dude. He's a bum. He's gone. He's out. He's done.
No, oh no.
You tell him no. Don't even give him an interview.
Wow, that's pretty funny. The whole time I just don't give him a microphone tag. We actively
make it persona non grata, dude.
Yes. I'm just saying, I'm used to telling him what to do, and I can't help thinking that as he starts to like compete and he's warming up, I'll be like, hey, you didn't level check, so go back over there, sit down. I need to check your voice, do a check 1, 2. Anyway, Tim, thank you very much. Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Yes. Come inside bjj.com on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're out in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. And if you're out in Stockton on the West Coast, go see my homies at 10th Planet Stockton. RAF, great show. Great to be here. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense on a weekly basis. It's one of the best parts of my week, my man. So great job today, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Tim. I'll close this bitch up. I'll talk to you later, buddy. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for us here this week at the Bullpen. We thank you for watching. We thank you for also participating. That was actually super fun. And it says, handsome Kevin is shunned from the Bullpen. I don't know. I mean, Tim made a pretty compelling argument there. It says, making him count endless is a wonderful pastime. I don't know. This is going to be a very difficult thing. I don't know. I don't know what that world looks like. I'm going to have to feel it and experience it and make a real-time call. There might be a moment where I just start heckling him from the sides. I don't know. I didn't know this information until today. Now I'm supposed to have a thought on it. I don't. I got to show up and I got to see where we're at. Maybe we fight each other. Maybe the minute I see him, it's hands. As the kids say, it could be on site. We'll have to find out. But what I can tell you is we are excited, though. Tim and I share the exact excitement of seeing Kevin return to form. He has been a welcome presence for the world of the PGF, and I think it's going to be a lot of absurd fun to see him get back to that. And we'll see what he does now, because he definitely took time from this show to go get better at jiu-jitsu. So we'll see, Kevin Sherrill. Wish him the best. All right, the rest of you guys, what can we say? It says handsome Kevin versus RAF super match is at the finale. Could be arranged. I really want to make sure we're emphasizing here, people. That would be negative ratings. Between Kevin stalling and my stalling, I don't think that ever will make its way onto air. So there's that. Ladies and gents, reminders, if you like the show, like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. I see those of you who are still watching in many different places. I would love it if you give us some love there and subscribe to us. If you're watching me, check me out at the Grappling Hour. If you're watching Tim, you can check him out at Inside BJJ. Love and appreciation to everybody who shows up here every single week. Yes, you can go catch Egg's show that's happening a little bit later today. It's happening, I think, at 6 p.m. Best Coast time. So you got about an hour and change to go check that one out. Additionally, for us, you can also check me out at patreon.com/grappling hour. Check my interviews out. There's a host of folks from the PGF. And dare I say this, we have a new section on our Patreon and on our YouTube that identifies people who have been interviewed by yours truly who have been in the PGF. So there's a whole section just of interviews for PGF people, and we have just started making those, but you can find that at patreon.com/grappling hour and at the Grappling Hour YouTube page, just at Grappling Hour. Make it very simple for you guys. Also, check us out at rafesparza.com/merch. Get you a Grappling Hour hoodie, a t-shirt, a tank top, whatever it is. Don't care. Just support the show. Every cent you pay for this goes right back into this show. So I see this. I like both accounts on multiple streams. It's very good. I appreciate that. And it does show. I did see a couple going up at one at a time. So good job there. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. Thank you so much for having fun with us today. We will be back here next Friday, same time, same place-ish. But until then, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.